Welcome back. You're watching Brandverse. Now, legendary photographer Steve McCurry was in Mumbai for an exclusive Leica India event that brought together some of the biggest names from photography, cinema, and creative arts. On the sidelines of the event, we caught up with the man behind some of the world's most iconic images, including the famous Afghan Girl portrait. In this exclusive conversation, McCurry speaks about the power of visual storytelling, his enduring connection with India, and why the most memorable photographs are often the most human. Let's listen in. Today we are going to be discussing the power of visual storytelling with a legendary photographer, Steve McCurry. Thank you so much for joining us today on ET Now.
It's a pleasure.
Steve, you have captured the world through frames, through your images, much before social media pretty much flattened the world, which is recently. Tell us more about, the power of visuals back then and how it has changed over years.
Well, I think back when I started, photography was the way that we saw the world.
Right.
It was before, it was magazines, newspapers. This is how we kind of got to know what the world was like. Now, of course, social media, every kid has a phone. And so when I first started traveling, you'd go into a small village and you'd be followed by 10, 20 kids because they had never seen a foreigner.
Yeah.
Now, you go into the same village, they're on their phones, they've seen movies about everywhere in the world, so they're very kind of more sophisticated.
Right.
Very different time.
Right.
Very different time.
Right. And now, since you already mentioned, social media has, democratized, so to speak. Everyone has a camera in their hands. They can take their own pictures. What according to you, do you enjoy taking photos with your phone, or is it always the camera that you carry for the quick capture?
I use my phone every day.
Every day.
Every single day. Family photos, friends photos, whatever. So I use it I think it's a great tool.
Right.
I think it's a way to take casual pictures, to record our lives, document who we meet. So I'm a big fan of cell phone photography. But for my serious work, street photography, walk around for books, exhibitions, it's my big camera.
Steve, you've given the world the famous picture of the Afghan girl. She's piercing, with those piercing eyes, looking into the camera. Tell us the backstory behind that picture.
Well, it was a time when there were about 2 million Afghans had been driven from their country, living as refugees in different countries, Iran, Pakistan. And sort of my mission was to show their story and what was happening to these displaced people. So there were hundreds of refugee camps up and down the border between Afghanistan and Pakistan. So I was going into these refugee camps, and one day I heard voices coming from a tent. It was a girls' school. So I went in, I showed the teacher my permission, and I asked her if I could photograph some of the students. So I saw this little girl off in the corner with these incredible eyes, and I knew instantly this was the picture, the only picture I wanted to make that morning in that school. And so I kind of set about scheming to do that. And this was the result of that morning.
Right. And, almost 5 decades you have spent taking pictures and capturing, people and, cultures around the world. Started off with film camera, where you were very particular about the frame and the shot. to, like, moving to a cell phone, to a smartphone, where, we keep on taking 1,000 pictures on a daily basis of different things. There you're more conservative and more frugal on how you spend your film or a frame, has changed to so many frames and so many pictures which are unused on our smartphone. So how do you look at that transition, to be from frugality when it comes to capturing an image to, like, the entire abundance and, it doesn't matter how many pictures you're capturing?
Well, I was very lucky. Back when I was shooting film, all my film was free. I was always on assignment, so all my film was, I could just shoot unlimited amount of film. But even so, with your cell phone, you can shoot hundreds of pictures on the same memory card.
Right.
Whereas with film, there was just 36 exposures, so you had to keep changing film all the time. So you wanted to be careful not to shoot too much, because otherwise you're always changing the film. So,
right.
Yeah.
What is the magic, according to you, behind visual storytelling? What has, stayed over the past so many decades, and what has changed, according to you, then?
Well, I think the power is still some sort of emotional connection, some story, something that you see, it changes you or informs you or somehow has a profound effect on you, a picture or a story that you can't forget, something that literally just stays with you. I think that's what we strive for, something that really is revealing of humanity or the world that we live in. So that's what I hope to achieve when I'm out working, is something really that people are going to that's going to stick with them and they're going to remember.
Yeah, and is it something, what is it that you follow? Like, what is it that you, think when you're going for an image, for a picture, when you have a camera in your hand or even a smartphone in your hand, when you're about to shoot, point at the subject and shoot, what is it that you, like, what is that secret sauce for Steve McCurry to capture an image?
Well, I think there's some intuitive, there's something that's sort of grabs you, something that speaks to you, something you see, maybe it's an expression or something. And once you've identified this thing which sort of really kind of speaks to you, then you try and figure out how can I, talk to that person or try and get into that situation. Often I think there's a chemistry or there's some sort of a way to connect with people, and it's sort of magical. And a lot of it depends on experience and a kind of learning psychology of how to deal with people. But it takes some practice and a lot of practice.
We are bombarded with images on a daily basis now on social media platforms, in the world of Instagram, in the world of TikTok, for that matter. Anything that you've seen of late that has inspired you as a creative person?
Apart from Lionel Messi at the World Cup, that's a joke. No, I think that I see a lot of great photography. I think there's as good a photography being practiced today. I mean, when I first came to India in the late 70s, there was a kind of a handful of photographers working. Cameras were expensive, film was expensive. Today, there's thousands of really talented photographers out working and doing really meaningful work. So, and on par with anybody else in the world. So it's really changed. And you could say the same thing about photographers in other parts of Asia or Africa or Latin America. The playing field is really leveled out, and there's some incredible work being made.
Steve, you also visited India, since you mentioned India, and you visited India in some of your initial first few assignments, really pretty early on in your career, and you keep on coming back to the country. What are some of the most compelling stories that you've seen on some of your visits to India that you've captured through your camera?
Well, I've been here maybe 80 times.
Wow.
In India. Yeah, I've visited everywhere. I was almost killed here in Bombay at the festival one evening. I was arrested coming in from Bhutan. But I met so many wonderful people, and had to be able to observe and to learn about the depth of culture in this country, when you have these different religions, this ancient, traditions, and it's been, to me, it's the one country, one region that I think is, for me, that has the most interest, and the place that I always want to come back to time and time again, because it's just has such great depth of visual possibilities.
Well, with that, it's a wrap on this edition of Brandverse. Goodbye from me, Shubhani Gharat, and the entire team of ET Now who put this show together.